Go ahead.
So I'll just say welcome everyone, and welcome everyone in replay land too. It's so great to have you guys here. I love my Friday nights. I'm so excited to see you guys. And it's really cool to just to see in the analytics and stuff people watching the replays and stuff like that. So it's really cool to be able to just have these to offer to people. Um, I don't think they're perfect, right? But they are. When I look back, these whole limiting beliefs, these whole bumps in the road that I was kind of referring to in my post today, are those things that used to stop us, those things that used to get in the way. It's not so much that limiting beliefs will stop you from, getting that big thing. It's the things that they put you into instead of what they take you away from sometimes that I notice, right? Like we're always going to be asked to do things, and we're always going to, sort of have people, we've sort of trained them how to treat us. Even if we don't know them, they're going to ask us something. And I was always so quick to jump in and go, oh yeah, I can help. Like I found myself cleaning my pool this afternoon, trying to get a whole bunch of stuff done. And I was thinking of my neighbors, and I was thinking like, I could have probably helped them a lot more this year with rides, and I should probably offer. And I'm like, why am I thinking of that right now? Why am I thinking of some random people that didn't even ask for my help at all, that I could be like, it's like this automatic default that just goes, and it's hard sometimes to be overly aware, right? But now I go, why am I thinking that? Before I would have been like, I'm going to shoot them a text, and now I've just offered up 4 hours, and like, now like, it's ridiculous. But the it's like I stop myself now, and I mean this is like years previous, and I've been getting better every time. But it felt like watching a child grow. I feel like I've been kind of watching that drunken toddler stage over the last few years, where it's like they learn but they don't really learn, but they kind of learn, but they still, they're gonna still jump out in front of traffic. That conscious mind hasn't settled in to tell me it's okay to just think of yourself. Think of, if you say no to them, how much more you can say yes to, right? Like, yes. So it was like, oh, oh, it felt so right. And it feels so right now, right? Like it's like you get that intuition, you get that hard no. Like someone else I was helping, they texted me yesterday and said, so I hear you're really good at organizing things. And the old me, the people pleaser, would have been like, what can I do to help you? And I just said, I literally texted, oh, that's a hard no. And part of me went, where did that come from? And I just went, no, because I knew they had been asking, and I got kind of sucked in, helping them a little more, helping them a little. And I see the train wreck coming, and I'm like, I know I can't help them. And I've said no a few times, and good things have happened all around for all of us when I've said no. And I just went, it was like I didn't even have to think about it. Whereas before, it would have been a little bit of a bump in the road. So these things have been brought up into our current existence right now for reasons. And so we get this choice of making the choice rather than hitting the wall and falling down and getting so far into the hole that we again have to start digging ourselves out, right? So it's not so much what's stopping us, but sometimes we're literally putting stuff in our own way on a daily basis still. Never mind all the old shit that we used to do, right? So yeah, that was what was coming into
Can
my
I
head.
give an example of that?
Yes, I'd love one. I'd
Can
love
I give
one.
an example of that? Or do
Yes.
you want to go first, Nikki?
Oh, I said yes to you, Jessie. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
yes. Yes, share. Yes, share.
Okay.
Yes. I'm
So
saying yes. Yeah.
the street kids, they're always asking for money. And so I know that they don't have food and all that sort of stuff. But, like I always feel. And then I've got the brakes on as well, and I'm doing it. And yesterday I said, okay, I'm not giving you money. I will pay you money to read what I'm writing. So that way they get the awareness and stuff as well. So, yeah, so that was a big, huge step for me.
Isn't that awesome
Yeah.
that you even had the confidence to say here? You know, I love that. I love that. And we have to make things workable, right? Like
That's a
sometimes we,
huge, huge change.
yeah, huge, huge. Before you, what would the old you have done?
Yeah, well, I usually try to buy food or whatever
Yeah.
and give it to them because I know that they've got other plans.
Yeah. But that
And
was
they usually have
brilliant.
multiple ways to get stuff that they want. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Could you ever have imagined?
yeah, this time it felt good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you didn't need to know that that was going to happen to be able to manifest that. It just, you got this sort of, maybe I should do this, right? It's those things that we really need to listen to. And when we do, it's like, oh, that felt really good. And something else will likely come from that too. One of them is going to go, hey, what does this mean? And you're going to be able to actually explain it to them, right? And that's why you're ready now to be able to present your stuff, because now if someone was asking you that question, you know that that answer's in there. Even if you just kind of open your mouth to start talking, it's going to come out, and that trust is there a little bit more than it was before, because it's the same stuff you've been learning. It's just we understand it on a different level now, where you can literally share it, where you can literally help people because it's in there. And so that need to be good or to belong or whatever, because there are things
I actually explained to my younger brother too, sort of the older brother and his wife. He's okay, but his wife is definitely so angry about me doing any of this stuff. But yeah, so yeah, and my daughter's the same. She's just saying, I don't want to know about it. She always do this. Don't want to know about it.
Isn't that interesting? I wonder, it's good to go at that with a little bit of curiosity. Why does that trigger them? Right? What is it about it? My mom was the same. She thought she knew it all. She didn't want to know. No one could tell her. I know all that stuff, but she never did any of it.
So I found out the underlying thing was that she thinks by me investing in all these programs I've done for donkey's years has been taking money and time and energy away from her. So all the volunteer work she's resented because she thinks that they're getting what she should have had.
If they only knew what this was doing for you, hey? And they will, because it's changing them too. It really is. It does. DNA,
exactly.
Epigenetically, you've stopped a lot of that stuff that, when you go back into the timelines, that's way before you making those changes literally in the DNA will affect that. That's it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it's funny because we do it for them, and the amount that it changes us for our families and sort of makes us who we really were in the first place, that was the reason that they're here. Hopefully they'll get it. But if not, what can you do? Right?
Well, all I can do is just do my stuff, and that's about attracting too. We don't have to, I used to chase, try to
convince them.
And now it's attracting.
Right?
So,
yeah. And that is the big change. Before this, I was just saying before, I was like, I should probably record this. Before we hopped on, I was asking, what does the group need to know right now? Like what would be really helpful for this evening? Oh, I just finished saying too that it was just us, so I was going to share this with you guys, but I will share it at the end. I'll just feel out our next person that's joining here, so I might stay on topic, but I am going to tell you guys something after. So hang on. It was really cool. Oh, and we have Samara back too here, so I'll just admit her. So it's nice because we're going to be diving into a lot of the limiting beliefs and this kind of stuff that's happening in our next week's class. Hey, Teddy, welcome. We're just chatting away here, so just join on in our conversation, and feel free to unmute yourself if you wanted to share at any time. You're more than welcome. Some of the things that have been a real focus over these last few weeks are just these beliefs that end up hopping in for surprise sometimes when we're least expecting, sometimes when we don't even realize that they're actually at play. And a limiting belief is something that, it's essentially an emotion that gets in our way of something, that's stopping us from something. And I didn't even realize the impact that some of the limiting beliefs that people have and what it can really do for us. So think about our decision making. Hello, Aprajitha. Nice to see you. Welcome. When we talk about how did I get here? How did I, we always have our reality, and it's a matter of our reality is basically, what we've created. And we really have to look at that sometimes with a bit of a kaleidoscopy kind of glass, because it's like, how did I create this? How did I really create this? But let me give you an example or a scenario where a woman, in this story that I had heard, and I might have repeated this before, so forgive me if you guys have heard this, but it really resonated with me because the timing was everything. And this woman was a really intuitive lady, had nothing to do with coaching or anything. She was just doing a TV interview about this horrible experience that she went through, where she had answered an ad on Craigslist for some free maternity clothes, and ended up trying to contact the lady, and she didn't end up texting her back right away. So she ended up deleting the message. And then about an hour or two later, she got this message back with this picture of clothes. And oh, no worries, Chris. All good. All good. It's always perfect timing. You know that. And I'm just storytelling, so it's perfect. So this poor woman, she ended up answering this ad. She ended up feeling like, you know what, I have enough. I don't really need these clothes. Maybe I'll just leave it. And this woman ended up texting her back again and saying, oh, I think these would be great for you. And I also have some young kids clothes too, if you want some baby clothes too. So she was like, ah, why not? I was out running errands anyway, she said. So she went, and even as she got to the door, she said intuitively, she was like, you have enough. Like, why are you even, like, it just, something about it told her to basically just walk away. But she was afraid to hurt this woman's feelings. She was afraid, she had fear about, letting someone down. She had fear about maybe not having enough. So she went in and she sat down and talked to the woman, and they had this conversation about, this woman said she was 9 months pregnant, and she thought, you don't really look 9 months pregnant, but okay. She had already grown out of these maternity clothes, so she was just giving them away. And the the baby clothes she was welcome to, and she had them all laid out for her, and she had this bag, and she was like, okay, perfect, thank you so much, I'm gonna go now. And the woman was like, oh, I have one more thing, hold on. And her gut was like, run, just get out of there right now. Like, her spidey senses were tingling. Next thing you know, this woman is breaking a lava lamp and stabbing her. And next thing you know, it's like, this might be trigger warning, but she ended up doing this C-section on this woman, taking her baby, leaving her there to die. Her organs were like falling out of her body. And she woke up, I think it was about a half an hour after this woman left, and was cognitive enough to call 911, got them to come where she was. And her 911 call was so brave. And in all of this woman wound up coincidingly bringing, the woman that stole her baby brought the baby to the hospital, the exact same hospital that she ended up getting rushed to. So they ended up catching her. They ended up finding her. The baby unfortunately didn't make it because it was only 7 months in the womb. Like, it was so sad. And she sat there and told this story, and she was like, if I had just listened to my intuition, if I wasn't so worried about what everybody thought. And I just thought, oh my God, worrying about what people think can completely destroy our lives and take everything. She has to spend her whole life like this now, right? Like, they had named the baby. They were so, like, it was so many things. But in the end, she's this strong, crazy, amazing woman who's now helping other people that have been through incredible things, helping them find their own intuition. Again, had nothing to do with coaching, nothing to do with any magnetic mind stuff, nothing to do with anything. It was just mind-boggling. Like, it absolutely blew me away. So when I was kind of writing in little ideas about the course that I wanted to teach next week, it really opened up my mind to the things that, limiting beliefs have caused in our lives. Do you guys have anything you want to share? Like, is there something that pops up for you that you want to share about this right now? Because you're more than welcome. We're back to being on our little group here of coaches, so feel free to share.
Sure. I got a funny humdinger. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. There's a man in the neighborhood who's been he visited me 3 times this week. Okay. His wife has he told me went to town to visit her sister because she's a recent widower. So, we looked at the garden, we looked at the flowers, and next thing you know, he says, "How about a hug before I go?" I said, "Okay." And then he slaps my bum.
Oh, no way.
And then he leaves. Okay, so I'm figuring, okay, the next time I see him, whenever we do see each other again, I'll tell him I have boundaries. So sure shooting, he comes over the following day and he says, "I have a question for you." I said, "What's that?" And he goes, "Well," he says, "I know you're single and whatever." He says, I would like to have sex with you."
Wow. Those are some big cojones he's got, isn't it?
I've talked to this guy like 3 times, other than that, just wave hi when I walk by the house, you know what I mean? And I said, and again, you see, like being polite and being, I said, he says, "Well," he says, "there's nothing wrong with having sex." I said, "Oh, I agree completely. There's nothing wrong with having sex." But I said, "Do you expect me to answer this right now?" And his answer was, "Yeah." I said, "No, no, 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 no. I need time to digest this. I need time to think about it." I said, "I'll get back to you." So the following day, I go on my walk. I go to his house and I say, "I've thought about it and nah, not interested. Thank you very much."
Good for you.
And he was like, I could tell that he knew that I wasn't going to go for it.
Good for
I
you.
just tell by his body response. And I said, "Oh, thank God," because I really, my ego was telling me, really pin him, really pin him for how dishonest he is and what he's doing and, who I am. And then I said, "No, I'm not going to get into that bullshit."
Good for
He
you.
just wanted to know whether or not I wanted to have sex with him. I said, and I'm going, wow, and the thing about it is that if I would have been more forthright, I would have said no right off the bat. But because I didn't want to insult him or whatever the reasons is, protecting his ego feelings as a man, I figured, no. I said, I can't decide this it's like
That's so funny.
first of all, it's a big shock, right? Like,
So he has no limiting beliefs. He's good. There's nothing holding him back.
But did you say that he was married?
well, his story is that I questioned myself, "Aren't you married?" He goes, "No, we're not married. She's not interested in sex." So it's kind of like a cohabitation, but is that true? You know what I mean? When she comes back, am I going to knock at her door and say, and besides, I don't want to have sex with this guy. So,
Yeah.
because his story was they're not married, they're just cohabitating,
Yeah,
which there
Oh.
are people that
there
have
are.
the arrangements just for companionship, but
Oh,
If
wow.
I was to read our
Somewhere else.
field, I feel like we all kind of went, that was a hard no, right? Like,
hard. Definitely no.
good decision, Heather. Good decision.
Good decision there. Good to you.
Aprajitha, did you want to share? Did you have a good
Yeah,
limiting belief
it's
story
funny
for
as
us?
well.
Top that one, hey?
So
That's cute.
sorry. Uh, It's in same line, that's why.
Oh. She's already laughing at what she's going to share. I love this.
Yeah. After I got divorced, the next door neighbor, there was like one old man. He lives across me, like my last house. So once he came, like just randomly something wasn't working. So I was calling next door neighbor. They were very nice. So, but he came and he goes, "Do you need help?" He goes, "You're doing everything all by yourself. You're so intelligent, blah, blah, blah." And then all of a sudden, once he said, "Do you want to go out for lunch?"
Oh, wow.
I said, that time, like my kids were young. So I said, like not that young as well. So I said, "I don't go out anywhere without my children. You want me to bring my children?" So he never answered.
That's a good answer. So if you don't have the confidence, you can just have a backup plan. Sometimes we just need a backup plan.
So he never said, never responded back to me. Then I realized what his intention was.
Think about if though we didn't have those kind of boundaries put up, right? What kind of trouble we get in. And I see this with teenage kids now. They have no I don't want to lump them all into one, but there's such a need to belong. There's such a need for love. And they all are so desperate to get it that they will take it in any way they can get it, right? Like literally any way. And when we don't feel like we belong, that's one of the things that we'll do, right? We'll just literally completely sacrifice ourselves. We'll make sure that everything around us, like that everybody is super happy except for us. And that's, I think, the biggest lesson about this whole bumps in the road that I wanted to just talk about a little bit was that these things happen, right? We get these people coming into our lives all of a sudden asking us something like that. It's like, did I manifest that? How did I manifest that? But what is it? Do you guys feel like it's a test from the universe? Do you feel like it's something to sort of allow you to see those things for a reason? When you look,
Yeah.
does it seem like things like that kind of happen almost like repeatedly? Not all the time, but it's not the first time either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, it's
Yeah.
I respond, and I was very aware of how I responded, because after he left with that first initial thing, I'm going, wow, like, how did I manifest that? And then, okay, how did I respond? So I realized that I didn't have my boundaries set firm enough, or I wasn't assertive enough. So that's what I learned from it.
Or did you maybe not know what you wanted? And it took that opportunity to allow you to kind of see, because we think sometimes, maybe it would be nice to just be with someone, or, whether it's a date, or whether it's, just a full-on relationship, whether we don't want to be alone. And so even that thought can be kind of tempting, even though it's like, no, that's where the gut feeling kind of comes in. That's where we need to sort of discern, is it an ego? Is it, is there something in me that feels the need to appease this for some reason, and kind of look at that. And now we can look at that instead of just kind of ending up being caught in the drama of this for days, weeks, months. Imagine where that could have gone, like the drama alone makes me just feel like crawling into a hole and hiding out, because then she comes home, they live right there, like, and if we weren't focused on where we wanted to go, we could easily get dragged into that. But you have that magnetic alignment, right? You have that, where you're going. So when that stuff, if we're not having that elastic pulled, there's just floppy stuff in the middle where that's where you'll make those decisions, because you're not going, do I right? And it can be uncomfortable to ask yourself, do I really want this? But when we really know and when we get those real choices, that's when you can kind of get that pull forward. Because there's a lot of people that we've been choosing coaching business, we've been choosing to be really focusing. And as soon as we kind of shift their focus to what is it that you really, really want? And again, we've learned this so many times. Chris has even gotten into it. I've noticed too in the four core four, how
Yeah,
important it really is. I still haven't watched that session,
yes,
but I
Jackie.
literally feel like I could
Yes.
follow it up because it that's it, right? Like
Mhm.
those choices. It's what it all comes down to, no matter how you sort of break it down. Did anyone want to share another limiting belief tale? Did you have something, Nikki? I'd love to hear.
I just like the fact we're talking about boundaries because it's actually boundaries is self-love, you know, and it's that space that you give yourself to say, what do you want and how do you feel about this? And you know,
That's so
it
good.
doesn't just happen. It comes with a decision,
It does.
and to know even with people that I want to spend my time with on a Friday night. Yeah.
Right?
And I like, you know, it's got nothing to do with not loving everybody or wanting to, but you can't divide yourself in being just a man pleaser for everybody, you know. And
Oh,
I'd say with Chris, as we spoke about Chris, he also said he has a lot of people, but he's not, you know, he has to have his own circle
hmm
of who he wants to spend time with. And the
exactly.
people that he spends time with
Yeah.
is people that like him,
Yep.
things that he likes.
And that
You know
are
what
in
I'm
alignment
saying?
with where he's going,
And where he's going.
right?
And so I think it's really important
Yeah.
to have these choices
Yeah.
and to know who you want to spend your time with.
Well, and this is it. And finding that tribe and finding that support and knowing that it's there is huge, right?
Yeah.
Huge, huge. Because you're on this journey with other people and they're going through the exact same things at the exact same times. And so
We're
you
human.
know, right? You
Yeah,
know
we're
you're
still
not the only
human. We must
one.
remember that. We're still human. We're still gonna have
Exactly.
human things. We're still here and living in a body, you know. So we got to just experience it and enjoy. But yeah, it's really wonderful when you do come to that place and say, no, thank you, not today. I don't think so. Go along. Hey Heather, go along. Not today.
How
Not
about it?
today.
Nope. Nope. I love it.
Oh,
I remember
Let me
I
tell you
too
something, though.
desirable, Heather. You're too
was-
desirable. They can't get their hands off you.
It woke up a lot. It woke up my body by being hugged and slapped like that. I must say, like, whoa,
Ooh.
like
Yeah.
a while since
Yeah.
I've been with, and it's like, whoa.
And for someone to not have any awareness of boundaries to that extent where they'll, because he could get arrested if that was a young, like a, you know, like a young girl on the street that he just passed all of a sudden and decided to do that, his ass would be thrown in jail, right? Like there's no way that anyone should ever even think that they can act like that. Never mind letting them into your heart, you know, like just how could you is what comes to my mind. Just how could you, right? Oh, and to know that that is just not in, you know, any way, shape, or form the vibration that, and it's so good because you have to kind of feel it out. Why is that? Even if it's something that seems odd, something that seems good, maybe he's a person that you'll just have you know, a relationship with where he can come fix something if you need it. You never know why he's going to be there.
No,
You just never know. But it ain't for that, buddy. This is gold right here. You ain't getting none of that.
After that, he never even looked at me.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really interesting because people will test your vibration. Are you in? Nope. Absolutely not. And that's what this journey is. That's what these these bumps are made to be there. And in fact, we wouldn't be able to be on the road that we're on without some of those bumps, right? And we can look and we can laugh at some of these bumps now, noticing that we would have made a very different decision at some point. And so I want you guys to think about a decision that maybe you made, because whatever comes up in the field for us tonight is going to be what, is just kind of ready to be treated. And I want you to just go back to a decision where you may have said yes to something, or may have given your power away to something, just really, where you just, whatever it happens to be, I just feel like that is ready to kind of come up in the field. And the nice thing about doing this work is we don't even have to think about the thing. We don't even have to know exactly what it is, because when we go into this meditation, it will kind of come up. But if there's something that comes up for you where, your limiting beliefs really got in the way, or you truly gave your power away, I want you to just notice what comes up for you. And I want you to think about it a little bit. And I want you to think about a different decision that you could have made, a different option that you maybe didn't see at that point. And I want you to just kind of keep some of those in your field right now. And I want you to also go to a place right now where you can actually feel your power, where you can feel your power, where you actually felt really, really powerful, where you were like, even if it was just when you said no to your neighbor, even if it was just this morning when I told my 15-year-old she had to really stop treating me the way that she was, because she was miserable. And I understand you take it out on your mothers, but sister. I may have allowed that before. And I know I did, and that's why she kind of does it now. But you know what? Not okay anymore, just really not. And to explain it that way, she understood it, and it's been a beautiful day ever since. It really, and that could have gone either way too. I could have still not been talking to her, she still could have not been talking to me, and that happens too. But every decision, like you said, Nikki, every single decision that we made. And so I want you to notice that empowered
That's
feeling.
beautiful, Jackie. Thank you for that.
You said it.
But you said it also. That's a beautiful turnaround, because that is working with teenagers. I also got a teenager, and the girls are different, to boys. I'm sure, and it's really, it can get quite deep. It can get quite deep, and so good for you. I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Noticing that, like, I do feel bad sometimes that I didn't understand this work when they were younger, because I think, things would have, but in the same place, I did the best that I could. It wasn't like I wasn't, but you just think I could have done better, right? I could have done better all the time. But those kids, they're the whole reason that we're doing this, whether they're adult, whether they're grown, whether they're fur babies, or whether it's just our own little drunken toddler self, that we're really just trying to kind of utter along so that they don't kill themselves. Just keep them on the path till they can figure out that they can have whatever they want, absolutely whatever they want, as long as they just are doing what they love, right? Even some of the biggest gurus, the things they taught their kids, they didn't have, it wasn't all about the finances. It was literally about doing what you really love, and everything always worked out for them. That's really, it sounds so cheesy, right? But that's it. So I want us to think about what we really love. What do you just really love? If I was to say, let's just go for a hike in the mountains. Let's just go lie on the beach. Let's just go, for me, it's always just go play in my garden. Let's just go have a nap. What do you just absolutely love? Crawling into that nice, warm, comfy place and just throwing on a meditation. Do you just love that? That's absolutely awesome. So I just think about something that you love. And we're going to go into our heart space as we feel that. And I want you to just invite all your thoughts, all of those little monkey brain things that have been just running around all day. We're just going to take a couple of nice deep breaths, and I'm going to have you guys just breathe with me for a few moments. And the breaths I'd like you to focus on are going to be coming as a full belly. So we're going to come in through a full belly, and we're really going to expand that belly as we're breathing in. And as we're breathing out, we're going to just let it out a little bit longer. Letting all that air out, just letting out that whole belly, letting that belly button deflate towards the spine. And then breathing back in, filling up that belly again, expanding it out in through your nose. At the top of that breath, I want you to hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then breathing out longer than you breathed in. And we're going to just continue on in that cycle as we just allow our breath and our heart to start connecting. Focusing on that breath, I want you to just expand your belly as much as you can when you breathe in, and hold it for 4 seconds. And breathe out just as long as you can till you have no more air to breathe out. And as we just feel that breath coming into every cell, I want you to keep breathing that way. Breathing in, noticing the coolness of the air coming in your nose. And as you breathe out, I want you to imagine every muscle in your body starting to relax. And we're just going to go into regular breathing now. I just wanted you to get some nice deep oxygen, deep from in those lungs. And when we're exhaling that, lets out all that stale air, all those stale thoughts, and a lot of that stale energy that's just sort of collected in there. Sometimes when we do breathing in the evening, it's a little bit tougher because we've absorbed everybody's energy right now. So we're just going to get that breath moving through our bodies now, just regular breathing. But I want you to notice at the same time as you're breathing that it feels as though the sun is starting to touch the top of your head. We're going to imagine that we're in this beautiful, lush, rainforesty, green type of forest, and we're just walking along a path. I want you to imagine it's almost like your body is dropping down into this forest, and you're just starting to notice all the things around you. You're just starting to notice some of those birds and some of those animal sounds, and you're starting to notice the beautiful, lush green. I want you to notice what the ground looks like. Just noticing that there's a dirt path that you're walking along. That dirt can look however you want it to. It can be rough, smooth. There may be roots. There may be tiny little rocks. But I want you to just notice the green, and I want you to feel how it feels to have that moisture around you. And I just want you to ask the superconscious to show you in every way this path to creating a life that you really love, this path to just owning your power and feeling it, this path to just making every moment count. And as we walk along, I want you to just hear the crunching and feel it. Notice the smells. And I want you to notice the sun starting to just peek through those treetops in the forest. Maybe there's a beautiful sunbeam that you're just coming onto. And I want you to stop And just feel that sunbeam start to touch the top of your head. And allowing that sunbeam to kiss the crown of your head and just open up that 1,000-petal lotus that sits atop in that crown chakra, where you can actually hear and feel that vibration shifting right now. As that sun starts to touch into the crown chakra, into the very top of your head, I want you to imagine that light starting to pour through your body as it simply pours over and infuses into every cell in and around your forehead and your third eye and your sinuses, right in behind your eyes and your brain and your pineal gland, and moving down through the ears and the nose and the mouth, just feeling that light, just embracing every cell. And as that light starts to infuse all those cells, it's just allowing the divine light just be coming right in through your body and touching on each cell and helping it to shift in every way possible to create the absolute perfect treatment plan, the absolute perfect order, just to allow us to see every step, every beautiful little stone, and every beautiful experience that's going to be at the end of this path. And I want you to just notice right now, you're back on this path, feeling this light come down into your face. As you're walking, you're getting lighter, feeling that light start to move through you. And as this light moves down to your throat chakra, I want you to almost imagine that you can feel every cell in that area starting to open, starting to show you your gifts, starting to be able to actually vocalize how you feel. And I want you to imagine that light starting to move down into your heart. And just allowing that light to start to fill that heart space. There's a lot of stuff moving through here right now. If you guys are okay with me just connecting to your field right now, you can just allow it in your heads. And I'd like you to just notice right now a feather that is just on the forest floor, just one single feather. I want you to notice what that feather looks like as you feel that energy start to fill your heart space. And I want you to just imagine that you're bending down and you're walking over to pick up that feather. And as you hold it in your hand, I want you to feel the tingles as the feather feels like it's a part of your soul, like it's a missing piece that you've just been waiting for. It's that missing piece. It's going to give us the ability to be able to finally see what's at the end of this path, to finally tread down this path and just simply move away these little bumps that are in that road. And as we stay in our heart space, I want you to feel the energy moving up into the top 3 chakras, through the heart, through the throat, right into that third eye, and right into that crown chakra, just allowing the magic of this feather to connect with your divine intuition. And imagine the magic starting to come right out from that sunbeam into this feather. I want you to wave it, and I want you to notice that there's these magic sparkles that come off of it, just like in Walt Disney, if they were to do a signature, it just sparkles after. And I want you to just hang on to this feather and feel the joy that it gives you, feel the strength that it gives you. It's this magic feather. It's going to be your bulldozer if you need it, your cattle prod if you need it. It's going to be exactly the tool that you need to approach each bump in the road. And now that we're in our heart space, we're going to move forward on this path and really take a few big steps. Go to that path where you've never even seen before. Maybe it's not the well-worn path. Maybe it's the one that actually looks really cool. I want you to just follow the path. Maybe it's an old path that you're on. You're going to go on the exact one. Maybe it's one of these old ones that have been recurring. And I want you to just notice that there's a big bump in that road. There's a big bump on that path. It may be a big old pile of weeds. It may be a pile of garbage. It may be, I want you to just notice what that pile even looks like. Maybe it looks like a memory. But I want you to just allow it to show what's been maybe getting in your way, maybe something that you didn't even see. I'm just asking the superconscious to show you and reveal that first bump in the road. And I want you to notice it. I want you to allow it to be there because it got there for a reason. Someone was sweeping a whole bunch of stuff. Someone was putting stuff in there. Maybe it was many things. Maybe it feels big. Maybe it feels small. But instead of crashing into it, instead of just changing it, we're just going to notice it. Perhaps it was that decision where we gave our power away, the one that came up before we talked. Perhaps it came up into the field for a reason. Perhaps our old habits, perhaps our old tendencies, perhaps just wanting to be loved. Just notice what that first little bump in the road is. And when you're ready, I want you to take your feather and I want you to simply spread out that pile, do a little magic spell, wave your wand. And I want you to notice what happens when you throw the magic at it. Does it do a big fat nothing? Does it stay the same? What happens? Was it magical? Did it just flow out? I just want you to notice. There's no right or wrong. It may just reflect on if we're ready to sweep it all away or if some needs to stay. Maybe with that magic feather, we can simply wave it, and whoever's pile of garbage that is can simply be handed right back to them. I want you to just wave that feather right now. Put the spell on it, allowing it to just be a smooth way. And if you can't exactly get over it, maybe you can now see a nice way around it. And I want you to look up again and notice what's on you in front of this path now. How does it feel? Is it scary? Is it an unknown? Or is it finally letting you see a little clarity? We're just going to ask that the superconscious bring this clarity down for us to be able to see in every way possible. And I'm just going to ask that all parts and personalities, all those parts that were defragmented when some of these bumps were put in the road, all of these parts that feel like they'd be dishonoring someone or something if they got rid of these bumps, we're just going to allow all of those to come on board. We're going to allow some of those parts that never felt like it was their job, never felt that it was safe to. we're just going to ask them to just join this mono personality. Just appreciate that at a time it kept you safe, it kept you loved, it helped you know where you belonged. But that's not you. That's not who you really are. We're going to just treat all that, tagging in memories 1, 2, and 3, and doing a massive change history on all those parts and personalities and all things needed. And superconscious, allow us to just look right ahead at this next bump in the road. That first one was kind of fun to get rid of. This may be completely different, completely the same. And I want you to just picture, with every cell in your body, this next bump in the road. This next thing that's just ready to come and be treated, ready to just show itself. Maybe it can show itself here instead of being an actual bump in the road that you run into in the physical realm, and just allow that next little bump to come in. And again, we don't exactly need to know what it is, just anything that's coming up in your mind, anything that's ready to be tagged and treated. We're going to ask superconscious field to just tag and treat all of this next little bump in the road, any events associated with it, any of those original events associated with that event, secondary intentions. We're just going to allow the superconscious to tag and treat anything in this next bump in the road, just propelling us towards that life that we really love, just keeping us in that alignment. And I can feel that path has this magnetic pull now. It's not feeling lost now that this second little bump in the road is ready to be treated and touched by your feather. I want you to just take your feather. Just give that second bump in the road a really good smoothing out magic spell. I feel someone's having a lot of fun with this, spreading dust all over it and just watching it literally disintegrate like slime that's drying out back into the ground, and just allowing that and simply stepping over that little second bump in the road. And I want you to just feel how good it feels to feel that pull literally starting to pull you forward, as that sunlight beam that was starting to come in through the top of your head now connects your heart to your solar plexus, to your deepest wishes. Allowing that grounding feeling of your solar plexus and your bottom half of your body start to connect to the top. Just allowing that energy, that beautiful yellow sunlight, to just fill your whole abdominal cavity, your whole solar plexus, where all those personal boundaries are set. And energetically allowing all of those boundaries that have been crossed, all of those broken agreements, just treating and tagging all of those, cleaning and clearing them all, giving back what's not yours, just allowing all that to leave, just feeling that in your whole gut, taking a nice deep breath. Allowing that blood to finally pump through there. I can feel that energy pumping. And just moving down into your low back, allowing that sacral plexus to finally be open. And allowing that root chakra underneath to start to balance out, to start not to have to give everything away, to start to make those decisions. Once you're empowered, once you're happy, it enables so many more like little lights going off all over the world, just feeling all of those lights starting to just shine all over the world, just as you shifted that energy. I want you to notice if there's any more bumps in the road. I feel like there's just one more bump that's ready to be treated today. So we're going to feel that groundedness, feeling that anchoring. I want you to imagine the energy flowing all the way down your feet, all the way down, past your thighs, past your pelvis, down deep into your knees as that light energy is starting to clear and transmute all of that heaviness, all the heaviness in those legs and those knees and those feet. Simply allowing that light to just transmute all of that energy, just moving it right down deep into the bottoms of your feet, and allowing the groundedness of your body to touch with the vibration of the earth, allowing your feet to connect on that physical realm, going way deeper down into Mother Earth, feeling those roots just ground you as a solid anchor. As you're ready to look at that third little bump in the road, and super conscious, we're going to bring up all the family stuff, the wounds, just wanting to be loved, just wanting to be noticed, just feeling your Father see you, just feeling your Father hear you, be proud of you. Imagine that. Just imagine that feeling. We can make it up. Just having that. It can be like you're in a movie. You have the perfect father. We're going to go to the mother's side. We're just going to allow that. Or allow that affection that we never had. Just going to simply allow that. That little drunken toddler inside of us is getting those big hugs right now. We're setting up structures for that little toddler to finally see the way. It's like our little Russian doll that's inside of us. Mine just happens to be a drunken toddler. I want you to imagine your little Russian dolls inside of you, all aligning on this same path now that you know you're never going to abandon yourself, that you're never going to stop loving yourself, that this is for real. I want you to notice that last little bump in the road and notice the feather and the magic connection you still have. As you feel your whole energy body start to light up, as you notice your little physical body inside of that energy body. And with your feather, I want you to just simply smooth out that last bump in the road. And super conscious, we're going to tag and treat all of that family stuff. Just going to simply plant some new seeds, plant some new stories. And I want you to imagine this last little pile, this last little bump in the road, to move as much as it's ready to disintegrate, to go back to everyone that it was supposed to go back to. Just allow that shift right now. Allow your magic feather to do the work. If there's some more and you're ready to just keep waving your magic feather, and even if you want to go back and look, you can go back, but just smooth it out with your feathers some more. And keep feeling that pull. And as you let that last little bump in the road, it may not be the final one, but there's a pull that's so strong that you can feel right now, like a GPS of this divine hand that's simply pulling you by the hand. For some, it may be by the hair. We're just getting pulled so strong that you can't deny it anymore. And I want you to imagine if you really embraced the magic within yourself, how many people would be happy if you could really just embrace that magic in yourself? Have people not been really waiting for that? Would people not almost cry when you could tell them that you finally believe in yourself and you're ready to do this? Could people not support you? I want you to just feel that pull, that direction you've always known is right. It doesn't have to be a huge land of plenty. It just has to be trusting yourself, trusting that it is there. And tagging and treating all of those beautiful things in the future timelines, past timelines, parallel timelines. Going back through all the events and dripping all of these beautiful things. If we were just, what if we just believed in ourselves as much as other people do? Look how much they believe in you. They tell you. We just didn't necessarily want to see it, but it's right there. I can feel all these people looking at you. But they're happy for you. There are those people in your focus that are really genuinely happy. And noticing those people, we were so worried about making happy that there is nothing that's going to make them happy. So once we stop trying to make them happy, just noticing that, touching that with the magic feather if it needs a little touch, tagging and treating that in the super conscious field in all timelines, all parts and personalities. Feeling as excited as you would feel for someone else if they had finally stepped into their power, finally embraced their inner magician, who they know they are. They wouldn't be here right now if they weren't. And treating any resistance to this in the field, any resistance in any of the fields, any events, any beliefs. Nice deep breath there. Just letting all of that shift. It's beautiful feeling the right and left mind just align. So the super conscious field can just do its work. Just creating that life we love. Just going to that place we just truly love. Doing that thing we just truly love. Feeling that way we just truly love. Don't we just love feeling that we can be accountable to ourselves? Don't we just love knowing that we have willpower, seeing that we did it? Don't we just love making the best of each moment and making each moment count? Aren't we here for this divine purpose? Do a massive change history on those and anything else needed. And we're just going to do a little scan through the body, just allowing the super conscious field, the violet flame of Saint Germain, to just tag and treat anything that's going on in the organ systems, the body, right down from the head and the sinuses into the throat, down into that heart, tagging and treating any grief, moving down through that solar plexus, and just tagging and treating all these boundaries that shifted today, and making the absolute perfect treatment plan for them, moving forward into the absolute most amount of satisfaction, the least amount of pain, the true flow. And tagging and treating surrender and doing a massive change history. And doing a massive super recode on the solar plexus, sacral chakra, and root. Oof, there we go. And super conscious, just grounding all of these memories and all of this work into memories 1, 2, and 3. Into the matrix of the universe, all timelines, all space and reality. When you guys are ready, you're welcome to just take a few nice deep breaths and reintegrate back into physical. That was a tough one. There was a lot of resistance at first there of getting into the field. I even had some moments of myself where I was calling in some different help to really just get into the state. And then once it was really, really beautiful. So hopefully that was okay for you guys. When I asked, I'm always hesitant to say about reading cards and all this kind of stuff, but what I was going to share with you guys before was I read this. I love my one deck. It's these archetype ascended masters, and it's just this beautiful deck that I've had for a long time. And I just asked what this group needed, and I got this work your magic card, and it was Saint Germain. And he at Saint Germain, you guys have heard me call him in many times. I love the violet light. It's healing. It's like it's our light. And so I'm just going to read this to you, and then I'm going to let you guys share if you want. I know I took a little bit over time there, so don't hesitate if you want, if you need to go, by all means. But I feel like this is the message for all of us. You have the power to resolve any situation that you are ever inquiring about. This card signifies your untapped magical abilities, which you've used successfully in the past. Pull these abilities out of your storage and use them to work your magic now. Your clear and focused intentions, positive expectations, prayers, decrees, and action steps all create the healings and manifestations that you desire. The meaning of this card is decide clearly what you will and won't accept in any situation, as your clarity will bring immediate results. Have steady faith in a positive outcome. Study alchemy and manifestation principles. So if you're not sure you're supposed to be on this path, I believe we are in the right place. It was so profound. I was just like, so the last thing is Saint Germain. He isn't a Catholic saint, but a count from the French region called Saint Germain. He was known as the wonderment of Europe during his lifetime in the early 1700s, renowned for his magical abilities to give gems and fountain of youth-like elixirs to his many friends. He was a virtuoso musician and linguist who was beloved by royalty and blue-collar workers alike. He helps light workers who wish to work towards the world peace and bring about integrity and honesty in government and all systems. And that's why we're here, right? Like it was so beautiful. Even if it was just my own message of, like, I was asking, am I on the right path? Is this where we're supposed to be going? What does the group need to know tonight? And this is what I brought. It just, like, it was the top card. I just went, this was it. And when I read it, I was like, that's just, like, I laughed actually when I saw it. I was like, okay, super conscious. Like, there's pretty much no other card that could have come out that would have been stronger for me to get the signal. And I had already planned, like, this was literally like just before I got on. So would anyone like to share anything? I just didn't want to freak Terry out with tarot card readings if he wasn't into it and he disappeared. So obviously it worked out. So
Actually, I
cute.
wanted to share, like today morning after meditation, this thought just came that just like I want to be whole and complete, why should I allow others' parts in me? So thought just came that let others' parts from me just return back to them so they can be complete as well.
Oh, Brigitte, I love that. That's beautiful, because when they took from us, they also lost something, right? Wow.
But this was perfect.
Wow. That's amazing, because, when you think of defragmentation, I like the way Teal Swan describes it, because she takes a glass of juice and pours different colors in. but those glasses are all empty when they're defragmenting too. So when you give that back, it just replenishes all this DNA. Oh, I got the goosebumps. That was beautiful, Aperjitha. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's all. You guys are awesome. You guys are so awesome. I love Fridays. I love Fridays. I love you guys. Thank you. Did anyone else want to share?
So
Go ahead, Jessie. Yes.
I should have been lying down, I think. Yeah, I should have been lying down because I was really out through it.
Were you good? I gave you no warning. It just was pulling me in, so it was like, okay, we're breathing now.
So I just wanted to share too. So there's these backpackers that I've known for about 10 odd years now, and they've started, they're healers, but they use the sound and they're connected with the whales and the dolphins, and they're amazing. They make all this, music with just very simple things.
It's vibration.
But they use it
Yeah.
for healing, yeah. So so now they sort of develop more the vibrations that they make through their own voices and stuff.
Wow.
Anyway, so they got a
get into
download
that.
yesterday morning. The morning of of Chris,
Yeah.
when he did
Wednesday
his
morning.
stuff. That and it was about the victim mantle over the world.
Okay.
And they got the message that I need to be like the first one. So they did that last night. And they're saying it was like the metal, it was like whatever it was, like the metal was really strong and they could just like chip away at it. But
Wow.
all this stuff is happening, but that's like worldwide
I love
kind
it.
of stuff.
I just got
There's
this.
so much happening.
I got a thought right when you said that. It was quite profound because it was like you're going to be this inventor of something. You may not see it because it actually doesn't exist yet, because it's your proprietary thing that you're bringing, right? Like that. It's this thing that you're gonna come up with all on your own. This is beautiful.
But that's exactly what it's about the talking. So it's the words. So the words are what create the beliefs, and it's going to be the words that actually release us. So that's going to be it, I think.
That is cool. I love that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Jessie. Anybody else? Did you want to share this evening before you go off and have the rest of your Friday night?
Yeah, I would like to.
I'd love to hear it.
The first bump in the path was a bunch of boulders for me. And on the boulders were several vultures. And I just got the Wild Unknown Animal deck the other day. I've been wanting for so long. And I'm just reading it. And once I got through that, it ended up like just disintegrating into just a mound of sand.
Nice.
It was really cool because I had these 3 vultures and I've always been drawn to them. I mean, I even have like one of those, copper,
The not ornamental type things.
Yeah, a copper vulture, and stuff like that. And I always talk to the vultures whenever I go to a zoo or anything and sit and tell them how gorgeous they are. But anyway, because everybody else makes fun of them.
I know they need some love. I feel bad for them too.
But in the book, I just pulled it out and it says guardian and purifier essential for rebalance. It says it's perhaps the most misunderstood creature. I'm going to just shorten it because it balances our ecosystem and prevents the spread of disease. It does the dirty work that no one else wants to do and cleanses up. The vulture appears when there's a situation that needs to be purified or brought back into balance. Remember, the vulture is greatly undervalued. What you thought was a mistake or tragedy is a blessing in disguise.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah,
For so many reasons, right? Like that is just, wow. And the dirty work. This ain't no clean business, guys. Like this is not.
Well,
It's
look at it as like, that blessing, that gift. That gift
exactly.
that's within, and being able to actually
Yep.
see, recognize it, take it in, and
Yep.
yeah.
Sometimes we think the divorce is the worst thing that could have ever happened to us, but in true, we wouldn't have ever. You'll see when you're finally happy, and you go, "That was the best thing that ever happened to me." People have divorce parties after they realize. Maybe it's just my friends. I don't know. How
No,
about thank you, Samara. That was beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's very cool. Anybody else? I didn't want to stop anyone from sharing. Were you guys able to envision a bump in the road? Did I lose you? Were you gonna re-listen to it? Yeah. Good. I have high speed, so I'm gonna download it into my group right away. If you did want to re-listen to the meditation, it's funny because after it, I don't remember what I said either, so I couldn't. It's really fun, but I did see a lot in there, and I did see some. It was really neat. I feel like I felt a lot of shifting in my body, especially once we got into that heart. It was like finally kind of things connected. And then when I felt the shift from the heart into the solar plexus there, it was just like everything kind of allowed things to come on board. And there was some parts that were really neat that were like I felt a couple new parts come in today, just parts that didn't realize that they could be a part of the party or that they should be a part of. They thought they were going to cause trouble if they should. It was really interesting. I've never felt that before in a recode where there was actually some new kids on the block. So that was kind of fun. How about anybody else? Did anybody else want to talk, or anybody that before I let you guys go for the evening? You're good. Oh, I love you guys to pieces. I am so grateful for you being here. Oh, it's my pleasure.
Thank you
So great.
so much. That was awesome.
Excellent. Hopefully we will see you guys this weekend. We'll have everything on our little Facebook group there, and I'm super excited. It's going to be epic. It's going to be so fun. Oh, you did, Chris. I love it. That's good. That's so good. Oh, I love it. Maybe that was your new part that came on board that needed to knock you out to be able to shift that, because there was a new kid on the block that I'd never seen before, so it might have been yours. That's beautiful. All right. I love you guys. Mwah. Have a fabulous rest of your weekend. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Take care. We'll see you very soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
everybody.
Thank you. Good night.